go ahead.
All right, so this is our PowerPoint presentation for servant leadership, and I'm going to be discussing St. Vincent de Paul. The history of St. Vincent de Paul started clear back in April 23rd, 1833 with Frederick on his 20th birthday. He established the Conference of Charity to assist the poor on his 20th birthday. He started his servant leadership at a very young age, which is, a lot of people nowadays don't do that, so I give him major kudos for that. After he named it Conference of Charity, he then decided to change the name of the society to St. Vincent de Paul in honor of their patron. While historians are not certain about some details, there is no doubt that the Society of St. Vincent de Paul was established in America in St. Louis, Missouri, at the Basilica of St. Louis King of France Church, popularly named as the Old Cathedral. It's one of the oldest churches in St. Louis. First meeting of the St. Vincent de Paul Society was held in the United States on November 20th of 1845, so it took a few years to get over here and get established. There were 19 members at that first meeting. And then after that meeting, it's just kind of spread throughout the United States. St. Vincent de Paul, the thrift store, which is the one in Des Moines that Heather and I volunteered at, was originally located on Southwest 9th, and it was brought in to Des Moines. I have to click on something. In 1924. And it stayed in its first building until 1970, and that's when they moved over to the building that they're in currently. They've added on a warehouse, a second floor with social services. They've had to do some repairs and constructions, and they are in the works, and plans are to eventually get to a new building that's going to be bigger and be able to serve more people, which it will be beneficial to not only the people that are working there, but everybody who volunteers and everybody who goes to St. Vincent de Paul, because they'll have more room, more space, and more resources. The mission statement from St. Vincent de Paul is Vincentian ministry is a means for acquiring holiness, the ministry of a Vincentian to those and with those who stand in need is the powerful means that affects holiness of life for the individual Vincentians. Vatican states that the principal means of holiness for bishops and priests is their ministry. This applies to the laity also because in attending to the needy and suffering, a Vincentian is ministering to Jesus Christ himself. That is one of the statements, and then something else that I found was that it's inspired by the gospel, and it's a reflection of the whole family of God members who are known as Vincentians. Deeply convicted, or convinced, not convicted, if I could read, that every person is a beloved child of God. The staff strives to continue the saving mission of the faith by offering educational and life skills through families. So they not only do the food pantry, which Heather and I volunteered for, but they also do a lot of other services. One of the main issues, the one that Heather and I dealt with, was food insecurities, and we volunteered with the food pantry. And what that means is Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 7 p.m. people can come in 2 times a month, and they can get food. Adults get $40 worth of food, children get $30 worth of food. So families can get anywhere from the $40 for an individual person up to $300, $400, depending on how many people are in your family. They serve any race, religion, sex, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, anybody. It doesn't matter to them who it is as long as you come in to get the help. They are trying to expand the hours of the food pantry. I think they were trying to do some sort of Saturday every once in a while because they added, Heather, what was it? They added Thursdays and Tuesdays used to be the original day, or was it the other way around?
Tuesdays were new.
We're new. Okay. So they've expanded on just that alone, and that helps serve more people. They also, where Heather and I were volunteering, have clothing that they do for people. And with the clothing closet, it operates Monday through Friday, and it's open to anyone who needs clothing for themselves or their families. This serves people coming in and out, or coming out of prison, treatment of mental health facilities. Often they need clothes for job interviews and other needs, and it allows them to attain dignity and self-esteem when applying and re-entering into the workforce. Children's needs, sometimes they don't have as many clothes, but like this time of the year, they'll hopefully have more clothing for school and things like that. And that's all through the Social Services Department, which is Monday through Friday. You come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, get an appointment with Chastity, who is their coordinator, and she can help you with financial services, furniture, clothing, and things like that. And you can get food during the day as well, but they try to have people come during the food pantry time. That way it's more, I don't know, so that it runs more smoothly during the day. They get the other things like the miscellaneous items for the house or the furniture, the clothing, or the financial assistance, and that way they can do the food pantry in the evening. With the furniture, it's available free of charge. They have new mattresses for people that get bed bugs if things like that were to happen, or if you get into a fire in your house or any other crisis that you might have with your home. And the financial services, don't have as much funding as they would like right now, so they aren't doing like assistance with first month's rent and things like that, but they do have the other money to help you pay like your electric bill before your power goes out and things like that. So there are a lot of things that Heather and I got to help with. They're actually in the middle of remodeling the food pantry and social services area. So I know Heather and I helped take clothing down off of the racks so that we could help move the racks. And when I was there last, I helped put some of the clothing back up on the new racks. They've painted. They're moving the whole food pantry itself. So the pictures that are on the PowerPoint aren't what it's going to look like when it's finished. They're just not done yet, so I couldn't put those new pictures up. It's coming farther and farther along every day. I know they finished painting last week, and so they are needing more help getting everything put back together, which is great because they need that extra area. So Heather and I received donations. We sorted food, stocked shelves, we ran intake, we packed and delivered boxes down to people's vehicles or helped them pack them into reusable bags so that they could take them to where they live. We hung and rehung clothing and helped organize the food pantry. And the food pantry will be a lot bigger of an area once they get it all finished. We assisted the needs of people getting their food for their family and children. Excuse me. We also assisted people in getting personal items, like I said, furniture and some clothing items, but we were mainly there during food pantry hours. We got to know a lot of the needs of these people and were able to discuss during the 5 to 7 period a lot of the stuff that they do in the social services area during the day. So we could give them Chastity's card. We could explain to them what the social services area offers, when to come, how to get their appointments, and things like that. And Heather and I both got dubbed as the data entry people. So we both got to input how many people were at each food pantry, how much money was donated, how many people were in the family, and even extra data entry for during the days, evenings, and weekends, and different things between the furniture, the food, the clothing, and the miscellaneous items. And they keep track each month how much they give to people. I know one night I think the night that we were both there together, they ended up, wasn't it over almost $1,000 worth of food that they gave out that night?
It was busy.
It was very busy. So, I mean, in one night they can give out $1,000 worth of food. So, I mean, it's an amazing thing that they're doing there. We felt that serving during this was very fulfilling, being able to get the backstories of those people who had either lost their home or homeless or in transition because they lost their job. It kind of breaks your heart, their stories, but it's also very rewarding being able to give these people the assistance that they need. And it was actually baffling to me, and I don't know if it was baffling to you, Heather, how many people had never heard of the food pantry and how many people were first-timers because they had no idea.
Yeah.
I think each night that I was there, I had at least almost half of the people that came in had never heard of it. This is the first time they'd been there, and they had no idea. So, I mean, getting the word out on all these services that St. Vincent de Paul has, I think is going to be something that I know I personally want to try to continue to do. That way more people can get the help that they need. I think that's about all I have on our beginning part of St. Vincent de Paul.
You want me to go next?
Yes.
Okay. So I did a completely different thing just because I live in a rural community, not in a big city. So we really don't have anything like food pantries or homeless shelters or anything like that, just because we don't have the population or the people that would need it. Um, so I went to Sacred Heart Catholic Church that's in Spencer, the town that I live in. And I just kind of helped them with random things. One day I helped with a Bible camp, which they do every summer for school-age kids from, I think they're like first grade through sixth grade, and then um, seventh grade and up can help with it. They have uh, kids that are in college, and they also have seminars come, and they're the ones that kind of lead the program and teach the kids. So that was kind of fun to help with that. And they do that every summer, is what they said, and it lasts for 4 or 5 days, I think they said. And then other than that, I just helped clean and organize, helped clean the kitchen, organize their closets. They have a bunch of people move offices, so they were getting set up for the school year, and helped move those things around and just get more organized. So the mission statement of the church is to educate students prepared to be responsible Christians with the skills and virtues that are necessary to learn for a lifetime while serving God, their country, and mankind. Um, so other than that, it was good to be able to help out in the community. I moved here a few years ago, so I haven't really done any community service, but I hope that I can continue um, helping out at the church. And it was kind of fun to see the kids interact and learn more about their faith. And so, yeah, I hope that I can continue to volunteer there and keep helping them out because it was good to do that. Yeah, I don't think I have much else. It doesn't really have much of a history compared to your guys's, but the school's been running for about 70 years and it keeps growing every year with their the number of kids that they have involved. They do a lot of volunteer with the kids. They go to nursing homes on a regular basis and do plays and sing and color pictures. There's actually a nursing home right across the street from the school, and so they go there a lot to volunteer. Um, and then, yeah, people in the parish, they um, help out with the youth groups and the vacation Bible schools and all that stuff. So I think that's about it on that.
Okay. Then I will move on to our objectives and analysis. I'm going to go over the objectives that we set at the beginning of the project to kind of help us grow as servant leaders. Our first objective was to identify and interact with individuals, family, and children from different cultures and socioeconomic backgrounds to gain understanding of the needs of the population and how to best serve those needs. We feel that this first objective was met. Sarah and I at St. Vincent de Paul met this by working with the food and clothing pantry. We served the below poverty level families and individuals directly. We got to have conversations with them. We got to know them a little bit, answer questions that they had, direct them to further needs. And, you know, they were able to tell us directly which services helped them, which ones didn't, where they still needed help, where the gaps were kind of in the system and the assistance that they were able to find in Polk County. And I think Emily had similar experiences, but with a little bit of a different population. Emily didn't really serve like a poverty level population, but her church serves an entire community. So I think you might have got a mix of a lot of different cultures and backgrounds, Emily, through your interactions with them. And, you know, we really just got to connect with people, understand what they needed, and kind of give us a little bit of incentive to find solutions for them and to how we can help them better. Our second objective was to demonstrate an understanding of the different social services offered within the community and by the organizations, and which populations best serves them. I think Sarah and I achieved this at St. Vincent de Paul by, you know, we were exposed to not just the resources that St. Vincent de Paul offered, but other resources, because people come into St. Vincent de Paul for, you know, clothing help or furniture or food and rent and other things. But, you know, one night that I was there, somebody needed air conditioning help. And I don't know if you were there that same night, Sarah, but we were, you know, trying to look up and Google and try to figure out where Polk County can, you know, offer them assistance for that. So, you know, prompting us to do a little more research to kind of help these people all around more efficiently, and also by listening to Chastity or Toll or the people that volunteer there regularly kind of helped say, oh, well, I know about these other resources, and I think we learned a lot of valuable information about what's offered in the Des Moines area. I think your microphone's off. I can see you talking, but...
No, I wasn't there the night that the air conditioner was an issue. We tried to Google that, and I know she had small children at home, and that was that week. It was like 115
Yeah.
deaths. I just felt horrible for her.
Yeah. Let me get back on track here. Yeah, and I think, again, although Emily had a little bit of a different experience, I think her objective was met also, even just through doing, you know, like Emily said, she's new to the area. By doing the research or having the experiences, like, throughout this project, she was able to just learn about, like, what kinds of resources her community does and doesn't offer, because they're such a small community. Like she said, she couldn't find a food pantry. And, you know, that's a large need that might need to be filled in that area, and that's something that, you know, is good information to have for the future, or to be compelled to help, or maybe put something like that together. So I think this objective was met pretty well. We learned a lot, I think, through our experiences about our communities. Our third objective was to grow as a servant leader. Improve communication and leadership skills by interacting and learning from clients. Again, I think this was also overwhelmingly met by all of us. At St. Vincent de Paul, Sarah and I were able to serve people during their time at the food pantry and gain an understanding to, like, to those who needed the services. You know, what their stories were, what their needs were. And what other services, like Sarah said, that people didn't know that the food pantry existed. They would come in and sit down and say, I just heard of this by word of mouth. You know, I was struggling. I told my neighbor I was struggling, and she said, have you ever heard of this place? And it was their first time there. There wasn't really any real marketing behind St. Vincent de Paul. They just, there was a lot of people that had never heard of it before. They sit down and they say, you know, I just got laid off, or I'm struggling all around, and we just need to make it through. I can't pay my bills. And then you say, you know, we offer all these other resources, and people don't know that. So I think over a short amount of time there, we were also able to build small relationships with some of the people, because they came multiple times. You know, I was there virtually all summer doing little bits at a time. So every 2 weeks they can come back and get some food from the food pantry, and you know, you'd see them walk in every 2 weeks on the dot, and they would know your name, you would know their name, you'd know what they need, how they best, you know, were helped. You asked them, you know, did you get the assistance that you needed last time? Did you come back and see Chastity the next day? And, you know, those people are really appreciative that this is a resource that they didn't even know existed, and then, you know, they got all of their needs taken care of kind of in one fell swoop. So I think that was really rewarding for us. We were really able to make a difference. Again, I think Emily had some of the same experiences, but just with a different community. We served one kind of population. Emily served her entire community, the whole church community. But I think that she learned the same types of things through her experiences. And also through interacting with these people, we were able to kind of, I know that we're all nurses and we listen for a job, but we were all kind of able to have the time, which is not something that we always have in our job, to sit and listen to people, show them compassion and understanding, and kind of help them solve the problem. And like I mentioned earlier, we learned a ton from, the social service directors at St. Vincent's de Paul or at Sacred Heart. And the other volunteers, I know especially at St. Vincent de Paul, with my experience, there were regular volunteers that came, and they knew a lot about the system, and they knew a lot about the people that were coming, and there was a lot of information that I gained from them also, and watching them interact with the clients was really interesting and so as far as future work, for Sarah and I at St. Vincent de Paul, we both feel like it was a really enjoyable place to be, and we would like to give more time there when possible. It helped us grow, or to continue to grow as servant leaders. As Sarah mentioned, we really liked the direction that St. Vincent de Paul was going with the remodel of the food pantry. It looks really nice. It should be a lot easier access, more streamlined for the clients that utilize it, and we wish we could have been more of a part of that. It would be interesting to kind of see the finished project of it, since we worked on it a little bit. And actually, Sarah, I went today and they had a wall built that wasn't even there last week. So there's a whole new wall and like 3 new rooms.
It'll be exciting to see.
So it was really fun to be a part of that. Again, and people don't know that this is a resource for them, so we felt that it was important, if given more time, that we could voice more knowledge within the community of what services that St. Vincent de Paul offer, and maybe possibly be a part of some sort of communication or community educational program or initiative to help get the word out about, some of the services that are offered in Polk County that can help people who are struggling. At Sacred Heart, Emily would have liked to also continue to give more time to the school and be able to help the children of the community that utilize the church resources more, and not just in the summer programs like she just volunteered in, but throughout the year-round programs too, because they have programs that they offer during the school year months, and she would have felt that it, would have been beneficial or interesting to watch these people grow in their faith and knowledge. But mostly, I think all of us for future work would have liked to be more vocal in the future about how to help these organizations, how to donate, how to volunteer, and how to help their efforts to better the community. So we'll end the presentation with our concluding statement, which is, as a team, we've taken away many great experiences on what it means to be a true servant leader. You do not have to have access to larger resources to make an impact. Being a servant leader is about caring for others, understanding their needs, following their heart, and leading others by example to do what you can within your means to make a positive difference in the community and beyond. So we thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot about our experiences with our leadership project.